The power goes out, and for the first hour, nobody thinks it's serious. It feels like something temporary, a minor inconvenience. You grab your phone, turn on the flashlight, and move through the house like normal. The furnace has stopped, but the air still feels warm enough. The walls still hold the memory of heat. The furniture still feels safe. Nothing about the moment suggests that you're in danger. So you wait. You tell yourself it will come back on soon. 2 hours pass, then 4. By the 6th hour, something has changed. The air feels heavier. The warmth that once filled the room is gone, replaced by something quieter, colder. You notice it in your hands first, then your feet. You grab a blanket, then another. You sit down. You assume this is enough. Because this is what everyone does, and this is how people die. Not outside, not in the snow, not lost in the wilderness. Inside their own homes. There is a reason so many hypothermia victims are found indoors, wrapped in blankets, exactly where they thought they were safest. It's because the threat doesn't feel aggressive. It doesn't feel violent. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't force you to act. It lets you sit still. It lets you wait. It lets you believe that blankets are protection. But what's really happening is invisible. The structure around you is draining heat. Slowly at first, then faster. Every wall is transferring warmth outward. Every window is radiating heat into the frozen air outside. Every surface is becoming colder than your body. And the moment that happens, physics takes control. Heat begins leaving you, not in bursts, not in waves. Continuously, your body is no longer being protected by the structure. It is being consumed by it. The floor beneath you becomes a heat sink. The air around you becomes a carrier. Every second you remain still, your body is losing energy it cannot easily replace. And the most dangerous part is that you won't feel it happening in real time. Hypothermia doesn't begin with panic. It begins with fatigue. Your muscles stiffen, your thinking slows. You become quieter, less alert, more tired. Your body is conserving energy because it knows something is wrong, but your mind hasn't caught up yet. This is where instinct betrays people. Because instinct tells you to stay still, to stay under blankets, to wait for rescue, to wait for power, to wait for warmth to return on its own. But warmth isn't coming back. Not unless you create it. Not unless you trap it. Not unless you understand how quickly heat can be stolen from you without you ever realizing it. Because survival during a blackout has nothing to do with comfort. It has everything to do with controlling heat. And the moment you understand that, everything you do next changes. Most people believe blankets are what keep you alive in the cold. They believe the more blankets they pile on, the safer they are. It feels logical, it feels protective, it feels like armor against the freezing air. But blankets have one critical limitation that almost nobody understands. Blankets do not create heat. They only trap the heat that already exists. Your body is the only heat source inside that structure, and your body is weak compared to the environment around it. At rest, the average human produces about 80 to 100 watts of thermal energy. That's barely more than the output of a single light bulb. That small amount of heat is enough to maintain your internal temperature under stable conditions, but it is nowhere near enough to heat a freezing room. Once the power fails, your home begins losing heat immediately. The temperature inside drops slowly but continuously. Every surface around you becomes colder, and the moment those surfaces drop below your body temperature, heat begins flowing out of you and into them. This is not optional. This is thermodynamics. Heat always moves from warmer objects to colder ones. Your blankets can slow heat escaping upward, but they do almost nothing to stop heat escaping downward. And this is where people make their fatal mistake. The floor beneath you is colder than the air. It pulls heat away from your body far faster than the air ever could. Even a mattress can become a pathway for heat loss if there is no insulation beneath it. You can be completely covered and still freezing, because your body is losing heat faster than it can produce it. And once that balance shifts too far, blankets stop being protection. They become delay. And delay is not survival. Once you understand that your body is the only real heat source left, everything changes. Because if your body is producing a limited amount of heat, then survival becomes a matter of controlling where that heat goes. Every cubic foot of space around you becomes a liability. Every open doorway, every hallway, every unused room becomes another volume of cold air stealing warmth from you. This is why trying to exist normally inside a freezing house is one of the fastest ways to lose heat. Most people move from room to room. They sit in the living room. They walk to the kitchen. They check windows. They spread their heat output across the entire structure without realizing it. And the house absorbs it instantly. It disappears into the walls, the ceilings, and the empty air. Survival requires doing the opposite. You stop trying to live in the house. You retreat into the smallest survivable space. The moment the heat fails, you choose a single interior room and commit to it. Not a room on the edge of the house, not a room with large windows. You choose a room surrounded by other rooms, buffered from the outside environment. Interior rooms lose heat slower because they are protected by layers of structure between you and the freezing air outside. Then you seal it. You close the door completely and block the gap underneath using towels, clothing, or anything that prevents cold air from flowing in. You cover windows with blankets, plastic, or layered fabric to reduce heat escaping through glass. You eliminate as many heat escape routes as possible. Now something important begins to happen. Instead of your body heat being swallowed by the entire house, it begins accumulating inside that smaller space. The air stabilizes, the temperature drops slower. If there are other people with you, their heat combines with yours. Each person becomes another heat source, adding to the total warmth inside the room. You are no longer trying to heat a house. You are heating a lifeboat. And that decision alone can mean the difference between slowly freezing and surviving the night. But even inside a sealed room, heat is still escaping. The walls are still cold, the air is still slowly losing warmth, and your body is still producing a limited amount of heat that has to fight against the environment around it. If the room is too large, that heat spreads out and weakens. It becomes diluted. It loses its ability to protect you. This is where the next shift happens. You stop thinking in terms of rooms. You start thinking in terms of microclimates. Because survival isn't about heating the room, it's about heating the air immediately around your body. The smaller that space is, the faster it warms. This is why one of the most effective survival moves you can make during a blackout is building an enclosure inside your survival room. A tent works perfectly if you have one, but it doesn't have to be a tent. It can be a structure made from blankets draped over chairs. It can be a small space created under a table. It can be anything that traps air around you and prevents it from circulating freely. What matters is containment. When you sit or lie inside that enclosed space, something begins to change almost immediately. Your body heat fills that smaller volume of air. Your breath adds warmth. Your skin radiates heat into the confined environment. Instead of your heat rising and disappearing into the larger room, it becomes trapped. If there are 2 or 3 people inside, the effect multiplies. The temperature inside that enclosure can become dramatically warmer than the rest of the room, even though no external heat source exists. What was once a freezing environment becomes stable enough for your body to maintain itself. You are no longer fighting the entire structure. You are controlling a small pocket of survivable air, and that small pocket can keep you alive while the rest of the house continues to freeze around you. But even inside that enclosed space, even with the air around you beginning to stabilize, there is still one direction where heat is escaping faster than anywhere else. Below you. The ground doesn't just feel cold, it actively drains heat from your body every second you remain in contact with it. And the worst part is that most people never realize how much heat they're losing this way, because blankets hide the sensation. You feel covered, you feel protected. But beneath you, heat is flowing downward continuously. Cold surfaces pull heat aggressively through direct contact. This process is called conduction, and it is far more efficient at removing heat than air ever could be. Air can only carry heat away slowly. Solid surfaces pull it away relentlessly. That mattress you're lying on, that floor beneath it, even the frame supporting your bed, they all act as pathways that draw warmth out of you and into the structure. You can have perfect insulation above you and still freeze if there's nothing protecting you below. This is why insulation beneath your body matters more than insulation on top. You have to break that connection. You start by creating layers between yourself and the cold surface. Cardboard is one of the best materials available because its internal structure traps pockets of air. Those air pockets slow heat transfer dramatically. Blankets, cushions, foam pads, folded clothing, anything that adds thickness and prevents direct contact helps preserve warmth. The goal is to create enough separation that heat cannot easily escape downward. Even a few inches of layered material can change the outcome completely. Without it, your body becomes a heat source for the floor itself, slowly giving up the energy you need to survive. And the colder the structure becomes, the more aggressive that heat loss gets. Because the ground is patient. It doesn't rush. It simply keeps taking heat until there's nothing left to take. Once you've slowed the heat escaping from your body, the next step is finding a way to give your body an advantage. Because insulation only preserves the heat you already have. It doesn't increase it. And in extreme cold, preservation alone may not be enough to keep your core temperature stable through the night. Your body needs help. It needs a way to store heat and release it slowly, without requiring constant effort from you. This is where one of the oldest survival tools becomes one of the most powerful: hot water. Water has a unique property. It can absorb large amounts of heat and release that heat gradually over time. When you heat water and seal it inside a container, it becomes a thermal battery. It holds energy and releases it steadily into the environment around it. A single container of hot water placed inside your sleeping area can provide warmth for hours, not minutes, hours. The heat radiates outward, warming the enclosed air and reducing the strain on your body's own heat production. The effect is immediate. Instead of your body trying to warm freezing air from nothing, it now has assistance. The environment stabilizes faster, your muscles relax. Your body no longer has to burn energy as aggressively just to maintain its core temperature. Placement matters. When the container is placed close to areas with strong blood flow, near your torso, between your legs, or held close to your center, the heat transfers efficiently through your bloodstream. That warmth circulates throughout your body, helping maintain overall stability. And the advantage isn't just physical. Climbing into a warm environment instead of a freezing one prevents the rapid heat loss that happens when your body first contacts cold materials. It preserves energy. It preserves strength. Because survival isn't just about trapping heat. It's about storing it and releasing it when your body needs it most. Even with insulation beneath you and heat stored around you, your survival still depends on something closer to your body: your clothing. Most people think clothing is just about thickness. They assume heavier means warmer. But thickness alone doesn't determine survival. What matters is how well your clothing traps air, manages moisture, and preserves your body's ability to regulate heat. Because the moment your clothing fails, your body begins losing heat faster than it can replace it. Military survival experts learned this the hard way in extreme cold environments. Over decades, they developed a simple protocol designed to keep soldiers alive in brutal winter conditions. It wasn't based on comfort. It was based on physics. The first priority is keeping clothing dry. Moisture is the enemy of insulation. When fabric becomes damp from sweat or environmental exposure, it loses its ability to trap heat. Water conducts heat away from your body far faster than air, accelerating heat loss and weakening your defense against the cold. The second priority is layering. Multiple loose layers create pockets of trapped air between them. These pockets act as barriers that slow heat transfer. Tight clothing compresses those air pockets, reducing insulation and restricting circulation. Loose layers allow your body to maintain warmth more effectively. The third priority is avoiding overheating. It sounds counterintuitive, but sweating in a cold environment can be dangerous. Sweat soaks into your clothing, and once you stop moving, that moisture begins pulling heat away from your body. The result is rapid cooling at the exact moment your body needs warmth the most. Clean, dry, layered clothing preserves your ability to retain heat. Each layer becomes part of a system designed to slow heat loss, protect circulation, and maintain stability. When done correctly, your clothing becomes an extension of your shelter, and not just something you wear, something that keeps you alive. Even with perfect insulation and proper clothing, your survival still depends on something most people underestimate: fuel. Your body is not just something you protect from the cold, it is the machine generating the heat that keeps you alive. Every second, your metabolism is burning energy to maintain your core temperature. In normal conditions, this process happens quietly in the background, but in extreme cold, that process accelerates. Your body begins consuming energy faster, working harder, just to preserve the temperature your organs need to function. If that fuel supply runs low, heat production drops. And once heat production drops below heat loss, your body begins to fall behind. This is why people often feel exhausted during prolonged cold exposure. Fatigue isn't just discomfort, it's a warning sign that your internal furnace is running out of fuel. Without enough energy, your body cannot sustain the heat it needs to protect your brain, your heart, and your vital systems. Food becomes more than nourishment. It becomes thermal fuel. Certain foods are especially effective because they release energy slowly and continuously. High-fat foods provide dense energy that your body can burn over time, maintaining steady heat production. Foods like nuts, peanut butter, chocolate, and other calorie-dense sources allow your metabolism to continue generating warmth when external heat sources are limited or unavailable. Eating before rest becomes critical. As your body digests food, it generates heat. This internal heat helps stabilize your temperature while you remain still, reducing the strain on your system and preserving your strength. Without fuel, your heat production weakens. With fuel, your body continues fighting, because survival in the cold isn't just about trapping heat, it's about feeding the furnace that creates it. Even when you've insulated yourself, layered your clothing, and fueled your body properly, there are situations where conservation alone is not enough. Because there comes a point where the environment becomes so cold that your body cannot maintain balance on its own. The heat you produce is preserved, but it isn't increasing. It isn't improving your position. It's only slowing the inevitable decline. This is when external heat becomes necessary. A controlled heat source can dramatically change your survival odds. Even a small heater produces far more heat than your body ever could. The difference is massive. Your body generates roughly 100 watts of heat. A properly designed portable heater can produce thousands. That difference turns a barely survivable space into one where your body can recover instead of decline. But external heat comes with risk. Every fuel-burning device consumes oxygen. At the same time, it produces exhaust gases. Some of those gases are immediately dangerous, and the most dangerous one gives no warning at all. Carbon monoxide has no smell, no color, no taste. You cannot detect it with your senses. As it accumulates, it replaces oxygen in your bloodstream. Your brain begins receiving less oxygen. Your thinking slows. Your coordination weakens. Eventually, consciousness fades. Many people never wake up. This is why heat must be used correctly. Ventilation becomes essential. Even a small opening allows fresh air to enter and dangerous gases to escape. Proper equipment designed for indoor use includes safety features, but no system is completely safe without airflow. External heat must be controlled. It must be monitored, because heat can save your life, or it can end it silently while you believe you are safe. What makes carbon monoxide so dangerous isn't just that it's deadly, it's that it doesn't feel dangerous. There's no smell to warn you, no visible smoke, no burning sensation in your lungs. It enters the air silently, mixes with every breath you take, and begins replacing the oxygen your body depends on to function. At first, the symptoms feel harmless. A mild headache, fatigue, maybe dizziness. Most people assume they're just tired, cold, stressed. But what's actually happening is oxygen deprivation. Your brain begins receiving less oxygen with every breath. Your judgment weakens. Your reaction time slows. Your body becomes less capable of recognizing the danger. The colder you are, the more exhausted you become, and the less likely you are to respond correctly. Eventually, confusion sets in. Then, unconsciousness. And once that happens, survival becomes unlikely. This is why some of the most deadly mistakes during blackouts involve bringing heat sources into enclosed spaces without understanding the consequences. Generators placed inside garages, charcoal grills brought indoors, gas ovens left open to warm the room. Even running a vehicle in an attached garage can allow exhaust to seep into the structure. Each of these actions has killed people who believed they were protecting themselves. The cold drove them to act. Carbon monoxide finished the job. And the most terrifying part is how fast it happens. Within minutes, the air can become toxic enough to disable you, without warning, without noise, without any obvious sign of danger. This is why airflow matters. Fresh air must be allowed to enter. Exhaust must be allowed to escape. Detection devices exist for a reason. They provide the only warning you may ever get. Because surviving the cold means nothing if the air itself becomes the threat. And the danger you cannot see is often the one that kills first. At this point, most people would look around their home and feel safe. They would see walls, furniture, blankets, familiar objects that have always meant protection, and their mind would tell them the same lie it has told millions before them. That they're fine, that they can wait, that this will pass. But now you know something they don't. You know that the moment the heat fails, the structure around you begins draining life from you 1 degree at a time. You know that blankets alone are not protection. You know that heat must be contained, preserved, and defended deliberately. You know that survival is not passive, it's executed. Because when the temperature drops low enough, there is no comfort. There is no convenience. There is only physics. Heat moves, energy escapes, and the human body, without protection, slowly loses the ability to sustain itself. Most people never learn this. They trust instinct. They trust routine. They trust the illusion that the systems around them will always work. Until they don't. And when that moment comes, panic replaces preparation, mistakes replace protocol, and the difference between survival and tragedy is measured in decisions made too late. But you are no longer operating on instinct. You are operating on knowledge. You understand how heat is stolen. You understand how to trap it. You understand how to create survivable space when none exists. You understand how to turn a failing structure into a controlled environment that works for you instead of against you. And that knowledge changes everything, because the next blackout will come. Maybe during a storm, maybe during a freeze, maybe when you least expect it. The lights will go out, the heat will stop, and most people will do what they've always done. They'll wait, but you won't. You'll act, you'll isolate, you'll insulate, you'll control your environment. While others are losing heat, you'll be preserving it. While others are reacting, you'll already be ahead of the threat. This is what separates those who endure from those who don't. Preparation is not fear. Preparation is control. And now that you understand the protocol, you will never look at a blackout the same way again. This is Last Man Protocol.